I think it's kind of important to understand some of the terminology like network and internetwork and internet and extranet and things like that. Not only do I think it's important, but those terms are covered on the MTA certification exam, so it's probably a good idea to know what they mean. I'm going to go ahead and go through these particular 4 definitions right now, and we'll kind of understand what we mean by them. So first of all, let's take on something called an intranet. What's an intranet? Well, really it's just a single network. Now, in video 1, you saw a network. I had a little diagram of a network. This one looks a little different. I had it laid out in a straight line. Now I've got them connected to something called a switch, but the idea is the same, and it's still just a local group of computers all connected together. But in the case of an intranet, we're using the same protocols as the internet. So in this particular case, I've added something here, an internal web server. So these PCs here could actually get local web pages. Now they're not getting them off the internet, they're just getting them off this server. Or I might have other internet type services such as email and file transferring and so forth that I can, or maybe streaming, movie streaming for my training videos or something. So it looks like a little mini internet, but it's all on my local network. So that's called an intranet. Really, it's just the same thing as a single network. An internetwork is 2 or more networks communicating with each other. So in this case, I've got something in here called a router. And a router is just a device that connects 2 different networks. So I've got one network over here off of this side of the router and another network over here off of this side of the router. And these 2 now can communicate with each other. What they can communicate and how they can communicate is all controlled by this router, but it's now called an internetwork. What about the internet? Well, the internet is just a big, large internetwork. So here's my local network again, my intranet, if you will, and then I've got it connected to, well, the internet, which is a whole bunch of different networks all hanging off of it here. So that's the internet. Finally, we have one more called the extranet. And an extranet is a network that is not publicly accessible, or at least part of it is not publicly accessible. Perhaps some of it is, but it's accessible by subscription or special agreement. So here's my local network, and I'm connected to a router, which means now there's another network, and in this case, the internet. And now off of the internet, I've got this other network hanging off of here. Now this network may or may not be publicly available, and it may have some services that are. But I have a server down here that is not publicly available. They have not released this. It's not a web server. They have not released it to the public, but it only allows me on it. And so my network over here can access the services on this server. What in the world would you use this for? Well, let's say that I'm a company over here and this is my supplier. And so they want to give me direct access to their order system over here, or their tracking system, so that I could track what's going on. Or this could be a service such as Microsoft Azure, where they supply cloud-based storage and cloud-based services like virtual servers and things like that. So in that case, it's a subscription service, whereas the first one might just be a special agreement so that I can use that company's server in order to make my orders and so forth. So that's an extranet. Now, it's not always off of the internet like that. It could be somewhere else. It could be hanging off of something else over here and be another network that's not publicly available. But that's the idea of the extranet. It's not just a public network. It's a private network that I can tap into. Well, that's it for this one. Now, in the next video, I'm going to take on the internet a little bit more and talk a little bit more about some special not special cases, but ideas about the internet that are sometimes confusing to people. So you don't want to miss that one. So we'll see you there in video 3.